You're not even playing anymore. The quest is still open. The map is full of icons, places that are waiting, things that need to be done. But you've stopped. You're standing at the edge of a river, watching the light move across the water. To someone walking past your room, it looks like nothing. You know it's anything but. You're not wasting time. You're reclaiming it. That's what we're exploring today. We live in a culture that has turned doing into a religion. If you're not producing, you're falling behind. If you're not optimizing, you're stagnating. The language has crept into everything. We talk about investing in sleep, maximizing weekends, hacking our energy levels. Even rest has been reframed as a productivity strategy. You sleep better so you can perform better tomorrow. The idea of simply existing without output, without a goal, without a metric, has become genuinely uncomfortable for most people past 40. And this is exactly where the way you play becomes something unexpected. Because games are one of the last places where being unproductive is completely acceptable. Where you can spend an hour watching virtual rain without getting anything in return. Whether doing nothing is the point. Not a weakness, not wasted time, but a deliberate, chosen pause. After 40, the pressure to be constantly useful is at its peak. You are the person other people rely on. Your time is a currency everyone around you wants to spend. And that's precisely why the quiet corner of a game world matters more than it looks from the outside. Think about the tasks you enjoy most in a game. Often, they aren't the dramatic ones, not the boss fights or the major turning points. It's the quieter things. Chopping wood, tending a small field, sorting the inventory at the end of a long in-game day, walking across a landscape just to see what's beyond the next hill. In real life, those would be chores. We pay someone to do them for us, or we rush through them, or we avoid them entirely. In a game, we seek them out deliberately. The reason for that is more interesting than it first appears. Psychologists use the term micro-resolution to describe the neurological satisfaction that comes from completing a small, clearly defined task. Our real lives are full of enormous, unresolved problems, careers that span decades, relationships that evolve over years, health that shifts in ways we can't fully control. We rarely get to experience a problem that is genuinely, completely solved within a single afternoon. In a game, that happens. You chop the tree, and it falls. You plant the seed, and it grows. You build the wall, and it stays exactly where you put it. There's a quiet, almost invisible healing in that directness. It reminds the part of your brain that spent the entire day navigating abstraction and complexity that you are still capable of changing your environment through clear, focused action. Think about the last time something in real life felt that clear. After 40, the mind grows tired of problems without edges, of responsibilities that evolve rather than resolve. The rhythmic simplicity of a game task isn't an escape. It's a form of restoration, one that the modern world has quietly discontinued. And yet, the real shift doesn't happen during the tasks. It happens in the spaces between them. When you stop, when you look up from the screen and notice how the light has changed over the valley, when you realize with a kind of quiet surprise that your mind has been completely still for the last 30 seconds. That's what this is really about. In architecture, there's a concept called negative space. It's the emptiness around an object, the silence in a piece of music, the gap between things that allows meaning to form. Most lives have almost no negative space left. Every free moment gets filled. Waiting becomes scrolling. Commuting becomes podcast time. Meals come with screens. The average adult today receives more information in a single day than a person 2 centuries ago would have encountered in an entire lifetime. Your brain was not built for this, and it shows the strain. Researchers have a name for what happens when attention is chronically overloaded. Directed attention fatigue. It's the state where your ability to focus, to regulate your emotions, and to make considered decisions is measurably depleted. The modern world produces this state reliably and constantly, and most people navigate through it without ever having a name for it. There is a documented remedy. It's called soft fascination. The term comes from attention restoration theory and describes a state where your attention is held by something beautiful but undemanding. A fire, the movement of water, rain on a window, something interesting enough to hold your gaze without requiring active processing. No decisions, no reactions, no performance. In that state, the part of you that makes decisions, manages crises, and holds everything together is allowed to quietly rebuild. A still moment in a game offers exactly that. A world that asks nothing of you. A landscape that simply exists. Beauty that requires no response. You're not being passive. You're allowing something essential to recover. Something the waking world almost entirely refuses to provide. The stillness inside a game isn't an absence. It's medicine. If any of this is landing, if you've ever sat still inside a game and felt something quietly release, subscribe. This is the place for exactly these conversations. We take our time here. There's one more dimension to this that rarely gets named. In real life, doing nothing carries a cost. There's always something you should be doing instead. The list never fully empties. Resting often feels like a small act of disobedience, and not always a comfortable one. Inside a game, that dynamic is completely reversed. You could be progressing. The objective is right there. The reward is waiting. But you choose not to. You decide freely, without asking anyone's permission, that watching this moment is worth more than any progress you could be making. That choice, the deliberate decision to slow down when acceleration is possible, is a fundamentally different experience from being forced to stop. It restores something the modern life quietly erodes, the sense that your time belongs to you, that you are the one who decides what it's worth, that you are not simply reacting to an endless stream of demands, but occasionally, on your own terms, stepping to the side. After 40, that feeling becomes rarer and more necessary at the same time. Most of your waking hours are spent in service of someone or something. The game doesn't offer you an escape from your life. It offers you a reminder of something your life has slowly buried, that you are a person, not a function. That wonder is still available to you. That stillness is not the absence of something important. It is often exactly where the most important things live. What recovery research consistently shows is that it's not the quantity of rest that restores us. It's the quality of the separation. A mind that is genuinely elsewhere, absorbed in something beautiful, free from the weight of performance, recovers at a pace that passive scrolling or distracted television simply cannot match. when you stand still inside a game world and let yourself be there, you are not checking out. You are checking in to something rarer and more valuable. The next time you find yourself standing still inside a game world, no progress, no reward, nothing to finish, don't reach for the guilt. Look at the river instead. Watch the light change. Notice that the list doesn't exist right now. The inbox is somewhere else. The people who need things from you are not here in this moment. And the stillness you're sitting inside is not emptiness. It's a resource, one your mind needs, and one the waking world rarely offers willingly. The doing nothing was never nothing. It was the most intentional thing you did all day. Games don't just entertain us. They give something back that the modern world keeps quietly taking away. The right to pause, to look, to exist inside a moment without having to justify it to anyone. And in doing that, they remind us that the parts of ourselves we rarely make time for, the curious parts, the quiet parts, the genuinely resting parts, haven't disappeared. They were just waiting for a quiet place to surface. The quest will be there when you come back. The list is still waiting. But right now, this moment is yours. See you in the next one.